Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to see the complete data analyst portfolio project. And in this project, we are going to use two softwares. First is MS SQL Server Database, which will be our SQL database, and the second one is Excel. All right, and in front of your screen, whatever you are seeing right now, this will be our final output. And whatever requirement we have from our client, we have different problem statements, different charts they want to use, and with respect to that we have created this particular dashboard. But this dashboard is created in Excel, and whatever values you see, they are, they are brought up and designed in Excel. But what client wants is that he want to test these values, he want to cross check these values are correct or not in SQL database as well. All right, so we will have some data in SQL Server, and we will be firing some queries to validate this data if it is correct or not. So first we will be using MS SQL Server database. And with respect to that, we will build this particular dashboard and we will check if we are getting the correct values or not. All right. So this happens in real-time industry as well. Whatever dashboard you are preparing in Tableau or in Excel or in Power BI, whatever values are shown in on that particular dashboard, we cannot rely on that, right? So we must have some testing element, and in that case we mostly use SQL queries. We fire some SQL queries to our whichever database we are using, and we validate if those particular query result are compare or matching with our whatever we have built into our dashboard, so that client or user should not get an wrong insights or wrong values in front of them. So this is very crucial point. So in front of your screen, whatever dashboard you are seeing, it is a complete interactive dashboard. We will be seeing complete design of this particular dashboard. So it is operated by using one filter over here, that is an order date, or we call it as a timeline size slicer as well. So if I want to see quarter one result, I will see the quarter one. If I want to see quarter two, with respect to that, if you want to see it as month wise, you can see month wise as well. So let's say I want to see it for January, let's say I want to see it for February or March, or if you want to see for first 2 months, you can see that as well. And you can get different trends from these. You can get different insights which will be useful for your business or useful for your stakeholders as well. All right. So coming back to our dashboard, there are different elements present on this dashboard. At the top, we have placed 5 important overall KPIs, we can say. Then we have some trends, daily trends and hourly trends are there. Then we have some percentage of sales where we are using different charts like pie chart, funnel chart, and donut chart. Then we are finding the top best and worst sellers pizzas, right? So, and at the left side, you can see there is a pane over here, which is giving us the summary of this particular dashboard or what charts are showing us. And we are mentioning it in 2 lines so that user can see this particular thing and he will get an insight, right? So, not an what we can say deepest level insight, but at high level, he can see what this particular charts are giving us an output, right? So we are mentioning that as well. All right. So this will be our final output, and we will see the step by step solution of this particular dashboard. First, we will be seeing the SQL queries. All right. And we will also connect our Excel to MS SQL Server database. We will see how to connect it to MS SQL Server database, how to bring the data from server to Excel. All right. So this will be new for you. But if you don't have MS SQL Server, you can use any other server, right? You can import the data into that, what we can say, database, and you can fire those queries, whatever I am using, and you will get the same result. And whenever you are designing it in Excel, you don't need to connect to the server. You can directly take the raw data and directly use your whatever calculations I will be using. All right, I will show you both the methods, if you don't have the server and if you have the server. All right. So let's see what we are going to see in this particular video. So the part one in this particular data analysis portfolio project will be MS SQL Server, which is a database. First, we will be firing some queries into this particular database. All right, and after that, what we will do, we will see how to import the data into server. Right, so we are having a CSV file, and after using that CSV file, we will see how to import the data into this MS SQL Server. All right, then we will see how to create a database into this particular server, right? So we will be creating some databases here. and we will be importing some what we can say the CSV files into our database. That also we are going to see. Then we will be writing some SQL queries. We are going to use some simple queries, some complex queries, right? So where we will be using different functions like date name, date part, hour, quarter, cast, decimal, likewise. All right. So by using this particular SQL queries, we are going to solve our business problem. All right. Then we will be creating the report, right? So MS SQL Server will be giving us the result, but we by using those queries, we will take some screenshot. We will copy those queries so that user must know that which query we are using and what was the result of that particular query, right? So he like it will be useful for him to test those particular results with comparing these results with whatever we are building in Excel, right? So we will see how to create the MS SQL Server reports as well. And the second part which are going to see is we will be designing this by using Excel software, right? So this will be our part two where we will be building our dashboard by using some pivot tables. And in Excel, what we will be doing is we will be first connecting our Excel to MS SQL Server database. All right. So this is the most important part. And if you don't have a MS SQL Server database, if you want to use some another database, you can go ahead and use that as well. And whenever you are designing your what we can say project in Excel, or whenever you are going for the second part, you can directly use a flat file and you can start designing. You don't need to import it from Excel or MS SQL Server database. All right, so you can directly use it, and then also you will be getting the same result. But I'm using the way which is used in industry. All right. And the next step in Excel, we will be seeing the data cleaning. Okay, we will be doing some high level of data cleaning into this particular data, whatever we are having. Then we will be using some data processing where we will be using some formulas to modify our data, manipulate our data. All right. Then we will be using some data analysis by using pivot tables. We will be creating some pivot charts and which will be used to create our dashboard or report. Second, we will be doing our data visualization, right? So by using those particular charts, we will be formatting our charts with respect to the user requirement. All right. Then we will be at last creating this beautiful dashboard. We will be creating this particular, interactive dashboard in Excel. So let's start with our first step into this particular data analyst portfolio project is the problem statement. So this problem statement is provided for us from our client, and he want to visualize different parameters into his dashboard and with respect to the data which he have provided us. And the first requirement which he have mentioned is the first is the KPIs requirement. Okay, so he need to analyze the key indicators for our pizza sales data to gain the insights into our business performance. Okay, so the KPI is nothing but the key performance indicator. Okay, so where you will be getting, or our user will be getting, an overall business idea, and from those numbers he will be determining if his business is going in correct direction, if he's getting some profits, if he's getting some losses, and with respect to that he can take the high level decisions as well. All right. So the first KPI requirement which he want is the total revenue. Okay, so the total revenue is nothing but he have mentioned is the total price of all the pizza orders, right? So whatever pizza are sold, so we have to take the total of all of them, and that will be the total revenue for us. Then the average order value, it is nothing but it is calculated by dividing the total revenue divided by the total number of orders, right? It is nothing but average amount of spend per order, right? So it will be calculated, or we have the logic with us which is provided from our client is total revenue divided by total number of orders, right? Then we have to find the total pizza sold. So pizza sold is nothing but the total quantities of pizza which are sold, that is nothing but the total pizza sold. And next is the total orders. So the total pizza sold is different than total orders because let's say you are ordering an pizza. So in that particular order you are placing three pizzas, right? So three different pizzas you are ordering. So in that one order there are three pizzas, right? So likewise, how many orders are there? And total pizzas sold is nothing but you will be taking the count of each and every pizza sold. Okay, so that is nothing but the difference between these. Then the next one is average pizzas per order. It is nothing but the ratio of total number of pizzas sold divided by total number of orders, right? So any customer is ordering the pizza. So at overall level or at average level, how many pizzas he is ordering in one particular order. So here we have to find that as well. So this is his KPIs requirement. And moving ahead, he also wants us to, uh, provide some charts, so that from that he will be taking some insights at lower level, right? Or we can say at or higher granularity level. So we can he will be deep diving his data and he will be finding some more insights. So KPI will give us the overall insight, but if you want to deep dive in your data and bring out more insights, we have to design some different charts. Okay, so in that particular charts you want to design first is the daily trend for total orders, right? So in this, what you want us to create is a bar chart and create a daily trend for the total orders for different periods. Okay, so in this period is nothing but he wanted daily wise, right? From Sunday to Saturday, what are different order volumes we are getting. All right, and this chart will help us identify the patterns or fluctuations in order volumes, right? So it is nothing but we can find out total volumes of orders daily, and with respect to that he will gain an insight, right? Like from which particular day he is getting the higher volumes of order, and with respect to that he can manage his inventory. Okay, he can bring some special offers on that particular day so that more and more orders are there, right? So this is the first requirement is there. Then second one is hourly trend. Okay, so the daily trend is there, but he want to deep dive more, and in that particular daily trend, what is the hourly trend, right? So on that particular day, at which hours the peak orders are there, right? So means throughout the day, he will find out at which particular hours there will be a peak order, and with respect to that, he can manage his resources as well. He can manage his, whatever the consumables are required, like he will be needing and LPG gases and likewise. All right, his vegetables, whatever are needed, so you can manage those as well. So we are deep diving more. First is the daily trend, and you want to see the hourly trend as well. The third one which he want to see is the percentage of sales by pizza category. So we have different categories into our data. So he want us to create a pie chart for that, for different pizza categories, and he want to see the sales distribution and which pizza is contributing to maximum sales, right? So this is the first three. I'm moving ahead to the next one. Fourth one is the percentage by pizza sales, right? So he want to find out the sales by pizza size. Okay, so which size of pizza is giving him the maximum sales, right? So what is the customer preferences for which type of pizza, so that he can focus on that particular pizza size and he can manage his the consumable inventory as well. All right, the fifth one which he want is the total pizza sold by pizza category. So total quantities of pizza sold with respect to which pizza category. So from this he will understand, right? He can compare different pizza sales performance and different pizza categories, so that from which he will understand that which particular category orders or counts are more in terms of by which are ordered more by our consumers. All right, the next one is the top 5 best sellers by total pizzas sold. So in this, he wants us to create a bar chart, and he wants us to find out the top 5 best-selling pizzas in terms of orders, right? And he wants us to find out which is the most popular pizza in this particular store. And in same way, he want to find out the bottom 5 worst sellers, right? So means what? Which are the top or the bottom 5 pizzas which are worst selling, though there are no or there are very less orders for those particular pizzas, and he will identify the underperforming or less popular pizza options whichever he is having in his store. All right, so these are the problem statement which are provided by us by the client to us, and with respect to this problem statement we have to give him a solution. All right, and he want the solution in both the softwares. First is MS SQL Server, and second is the MS Excel. All right. So first we will be solving this using SQL queries. We will fire some SQL queries and we will find the output for whatever problem statement he has mentioned us. And because we cannot show the SQL queries in the form of dashboard, we will generate a dashboard in Excel. We will compare those values and we will come to know that we will be double sure that yeah, so both the values are matching, and this is the foolproof dashboard and correct values which can be thrown in front of our stakeholders or our users which we are having. All right. So the software is most important. What software I am using in this particular what we can say data analyst portfolio project is, first I will be using MS Office or Excel. I will be using the 2021 MS Office. Okay. So I recommend you to use the MS Office whichever is higher than 2016. Okay. So if you don't have, there are crack versions available. Either use 2016 or the version above than that. Okay. And MS SQL Server which you are using is the 19.0, which is the latest what we can say release which we are having. And you can use those SQL Server Management Studio also. So MS SQL Server, there are many videos available how to install it. And with respect to that Server Management Studio, that is SSMS, is required for us because we will be firing all our queries in that only. All right. So moving ahead, we will go ahead and see our the data, whatever we will have a walkthrough on the data. So this is our data, which is a pizza sales data, and it is for a year of 2015. Okay, so it is a data for 1 year, and we have different, fields here, columns here. We will see one by one what is the significance of those particular fields. And this is a currently CSV file. I will attach a link in the description box from where you can go ahead and download that. All right. So the first column, if you can see, the first is the pizza ID. So pizza ID is nothing but this will be our primary key, where you can see there will be a unique number to each and every row which we are having here. And in this particular pizza ID, so each pizza sold, okay, each pizza, this particular data is for each pizza sold. Okay, so that particular ID is for pizza. And the second one is the order ID. So order ID, you can see there are some duplicates available here, right? So there are some duplicates available for each order ID. So it is nothing but in that particular, so let's say one particular person is an ordering, and you can see two is repeated 5 times. It is nothing but he have ordered 5 pizzas in that particular one order. So with that particular each pizza, we are having each row for that particular order. So you can see it is repeated. And in that particular thing, whatever pizzas he have ordered, whatever what each pizza is costing us, all these things are mentioned over here. All right. So you can see quantity. Then there is a pizza name ID. Then we have a quantity over here. Then we have the date of order which has been ordered, and what time that particular pizza has been ordered, you can see. So for second one, you can see it has been ordered at 11:57 a.m. All right. And what is the unit price of each pizza? What is the total price? What was the size of that particular pizza, whether it was medium, large, extra large, or double extra large? What was its category? Classic, veggie, supreme, chicken, okay, veg or non-veg likewise. What were the ingredients, what we can say toppings which were added onto that particular pizza? And what was the name of that pizza? Okay, so this much fields which we have, which is very much easy to understand the domain knowledge for us, because we all of us have ordered pizza in our life once or twice. Okay, so this is the total 12 number of fields which we are having, and the total size of the data which present here is 48,000. You can see 48,000 rows are there for this particular approximately, and we will be using this particular data to analyze. So now let's open our SQL Server Management Studio, and then we will import our this particular CSV file into our MS SQL Server, and we will start firing our queries with respect to what requirement document is provided to us. Okay, so I will just open the SQL Server Management Studio. So it will take some time to open. And so whatever server name you are seeing here, this is very much important, right? So this server name will be required for us whenever we are going to connect our Excel to our MS SQL server. So we have to provide our server name at that particular time. So you can either copy it and paste it at somewhere else, or you can just note it down and you can type it over there. All right. And I will just hit connect button, and you can see this is the UI of Server Management Studio, that is MS SQL Server. And yeah, there are different databases available over here. When I hit on this plus button, so these are the already created database which I was working on. So we will go ahead and create a new database for our pizza sales. So I will just click on this. Then you have to right click here, and you have to click on new database. All right. So in new database, we have to mention the name of here. So I will be mentioning it as pizza DB. Okay, I will mention it as database, that is pizza DB. And you just have to click on OK. So you can see the database has been created over here. So just hit the plus button over here and you can see the different elements available for this particular database. And we want to add a table over here. So right now there is no table added or no data is added for our database. So we have to import our data from our the flat file which we are using over here. So this is our flat file and this flat file we will be importing into our database. All right. So we will go back to our server management studio and how to import the data. So select the database which you have created, right click here, go to task. Okay, in task here you can see import flat file, not import data. You have to click on import flat file. I will just click over here and you can see the import flat file dialog box has been opened. I will just click on next. Then it is asking us to browse the file. So from where you want to browse, I will just hit on browse button and you can see it is mentioned in D drive. So I will, you wherever you have it your file, you can browse to that particular file and I will just click open. Then I will just hit next. You can say whenever that particular file is open at your background in another application, first you have to close it. So I will just close this particular file first. I will just click on save and now I will just go back again. And now so you have to close whatever applications are open. That particular CSV file was open in MS SQL Excel, so you have to close that. Then I will just hit next. Then you can see there is a preview of the data which is been imported here. You can check with whether all the columns are been brought up into this particular import file. Then you have to just click on next and you can see there are different column names are there whichever are there in our data and different data type, which by default MS SQL Server has assigned the data type for that. So it depends upon you if you want to change the data types for this. But I usually would like to change it. So whatever you can see at n varchar 50, wherever you are seeing this. So I will change this to varchar 50. Okay, so this is varchar 50. So this also I will change to varchar 50. Then the pizza category also I will change to varchar 50. And you can see this here n varchar and 100 is the particular size. So 100 is nothing but what how many text or word size can be taken into that particular column. But because pizza ingredients are there are maybe many pizza ingredients, so the length of that particular what we can say text into that column is greater than 100 or greater than 80. So we have to mention a higher side, what we can say the size for this. So we have chosen the 50, but I will mention it as 200 over here. Okay, so you can edit it. The pizza name also I will change it to varchar 50. Okay, so all this we have changed, and then we will go ahead and click on next, and I will click on finish. Okay, so it is giving us the error. So whatever error we are seeing, you can click on this error, and you can see what error we are seeing here. So it is giving us that error that for column 1, that is for our order ID, it cannot be converted to tiny integer. Okay, so it is asking us so that it has taken the tiny integer, so we have to change the data type of this. So I will just close this. I will just go to previous, hit one more time. So whatever we have at pizza ID, it cannot be tiny integer or small integer. So I will change it to integer. Okay. So why it is not taking? Because pizza ID, the IDs from serial numbers like 1, 2, 3. You can go ahead and check the data, and at the data is up to 48,000. Okay. So tiny integer is given to those only wherever there are single digit numbers are there. Okay, but our what we can say the pizza ID is more than 100, more than 200. So we have to give it a proper integer. Same will be for order ID also, because order ID are also greater than 100 or 200. So we will change this also to integer. Okay, quantity can be tiny integer, because quantity max to max we are ordering a pizza up to 7 pizzas, 8 pizzas. So it is a single digit, so it can be taking a value as a tiny integer, that is small integer. Then I will just hit next and I will click on finish. So it will take some time to complete it operation, and we will get a message over here success. It means that our data has been imported over here. So I will just hit close button, and you can see that data file has been not, you can say, uploaded over here. So for that, what you have to do is I will just right click here and I will refresh this. I will just refresh this and then I will go into tables, and you can see our table has been added over here. So now we have want to see if our data has been correctly added or not. So I will just right click here and I will click on new query. Okay, so you can see a query window has been opened here, and I will just type our query over here, that is select star. Star means everything from what is our name of the what we can say data table which we have added is pizza underscore sales. Okay, pizza underscore sales. So this is our table. So make sure you are importing CSV file. Okay, CSV file only you have to import. XLSX file will be not imported into our MS SQL Server database. You have to import a comma separated file, that is CSV file only. All right, and I will just click on execute over here. So here you have to click on execute, and you can see this is the data which has been imported, and you can see the number of rows which are there, 48,620. The same number of rows were there into our flat file. So all the rows and all the data has been imported over here. So this is our data. Now we will go ahead and see our, with respect to our problem statements, we will go ahead and fire our queries so that we are getting output for those. Okay, and with the same we will also create our document as well. Okay, so we have imported our what we can say data. Then next we will start firing our queries with respect to our requirement document. So we will go to our requirement document, and the first requirement which we have over here is to find out the total revenue. Okay, so the total revenue is nothing but total price of all the pizza orders. Okay, so for that we will go to our server here, and we will fire some queries over here to get the total order, right? So I will just use a select statement for this. I will use select, and we want sum, right? So total revenue is nothing but sum of total price. Okay. So you can see this is the total price column which we have over here. So we will be using this particular column to get our total revenue. Okay. Sum of total underscore price. So make sure, because it is a case sensitive, whatever column name is there, use the same column name you have to enter in your query, because it is a case sensitive statement just for this particular column fields which are dragging or we are retrieving from your data, and we want to bring it from, okay, from where, this particular table, right? So what is the name of our table? That is pizza underscore sales. Okay, so this is our pizza underscore sales. I will just increase the site a bit, right? All right, so now I will just execute this. So you can see we have an total number of sales of 81,000 or $817,860. Okay, so you can see the no column name has been applied to this. So if you want to give some column name, after some you have to give some alias over here, that is a temporary column name which will be given to our output, and I will name it as total underscore revenue. Okay, so you have to mention underscore over here. You cannot mention a space, right? So it is again a case sensitive. You cannot mention a space into this particular MS SQL server. So I will just hit OK. Now you can see it has been given a name over here. So this is our total revenue, and this is our output, that is 817860. So now most important thing is, whenever you are firing some queries, you have to save these queries. Whatever query you have written, you have to save this. Whatever result you are getting, you have to save this, because whenever your client is going to see this particular queries, he must know what queries you have fired and what output you have got, right? You cannot just fire it and you have just checked it up to yourself and you have deleted everything. No, you have to save it so that your users, your stakeholders, your clients, your colleagues might see that what query you have used. All right, so make sure. And for that, what we have done is we have to create a document over here, right? So I have created a document called Pizza Sales SQL Queries, and our first one is we are creating it for KPIs, and in first KPI we are finding it for total revenue. Okay, this is the query which we have. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to just select this, copy this, and you have to paste it over here, and you can take a screenshot of this particular this output which we have got over here, and you have to paste it over here, right? So this is the query and this is the output of that particular query. All right, so in this way you have to create a document. So right, so you have to create a document for each and every query over here. Whatever I have done, you have to create the document in same way. Okay, because this document will be required in future preferences. Okay, so if your client come back and say no, this result is wrong, then you can go ahead and show him the query. Yeah, this was the result which we got. All right, so I hope you have understood this. The next thing what we have to do is I will just delete this now, because we have got our first result, and I will just use this select star from. I will just bring the data in front of us so that with reference to that data we can find all the things. Okay, so this is the data in front of us again. Now the second thing, or the second requirement which is there for us, is to determine average order value, and it is nothing but calculated by dividing the total revenue by total number of orders. Okay. So now total revenue we have already calculated, but we have to find out the total number of orders, right? So orders is nothing but we have to take count of this particular orders, right? But you can see there are some duplicates available over here, right? So if you take count this duplicate, this you can see 2 is repeated 5 times, so it will take the count of this each and every row at 5 times, right? So it is duplicating the result. So we don't want duplicate results, so we want a distinct count of each and every row of this particular column. Okay, so we will be taking a distinct count because there are repetitive values over here, right? Because this particular data which we are having, it is for pizza data. Okay, so each pizza ordered, that is particular data, it is not for order data. So order ID is repeated over here because in this particular order ID 5 pizzas were ordered. All right, so we have to take distinct count. I hope you have understood. So I will be using, so we have to find out the ratio, so I will be using select. Okay, so one second. So select, what we have to do is we have to take a ratio of what? Total revenue. So total revenue we know it is nothing but sum of what? Total underscore price. Okay, so this is our total revenue and we have to divide it by what? Count of, okay, so we will be dividing it by count of distinct. Okay, so we have to take distinct count of what? Order ID. Distinct count of order ID, order underscore ID. This is the column name. I will close this. Okay. And where do we want to bring it from? Pizza underscore sales. Okay. So we will select this. Okay. Select. So if you run this query, you will get an error over here, right? Or you will be getting both the queries will be run. So I just want to run this particular query. So I'll just select this and I will then execute. So you can see at 38.30 is the average, what we can say, order value, or what we can say average order value, but we want to give the name to this, so I will giving here as alias, that is as average underscore order underscore value. Okay, and I will run this. I will select this and then I will run this. You can see the name of this column is given as a temporary name and the output is 38.30. In the same way, again, what you have to do, you have to save this query and you have to save the result for this query. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so we have got the second query as well. And the next thing what we will be doing is, with respect to requirement document, we have to find the total pizza sold. The total pizza sold is nothing but sum of all the quantities of the pizza sold. Okay, so I will just run this query and I will show you the data which we have. So we can see we have a name called quantity into our, a field called quantity into our data. So we have to take sum of all of these quantities, okay, so that we will be getting the total orders placed, right? So that is total pizza sold, right? Sorry. So we will just delete this and I will take the sum of, okay, we will be taking the sum of quantity. Okay, so this is sum of quantity and from pizza underscore sales. So I will just run this and we want this table to be named as total underscore pizza sold. All right, and I will just select this query and I will run this. So you can see 49574 are the total pizzas sold. Again, you can save this query and take the screenshot of it and bring it in your document. So these are the total pizzas sold into our data. Okay, the next requirement is to find out the total orders placed. Okay, so I will just run this query again to see our data. So we want to find out the total order placed. Okay, so total orders are nothing but we have to take count of this particular column, that is order ID, and we have to take a distinct count because there are repetitive values over here, right? So what we will do, I will just delete this. So I will just modify this query only. So we have to find out count of distinct. Okay, we will take distinct count of what? Order underscore ID. Okay, and we will name this column as, or the output should be named as total underscore orders. Okay, select this query and then run this. So you can see these were the total number of orders, that is 21,350. Okay, so if you can see into our document, the total pizzas sold were 49,000 and total orders are 21,000. So you can see almost for each and every order more than two pizzas are sold. Okay, so in this way we have to bring an insights over here. All right. So now I will just delete this, and the next document which we have, or the next requirement which we have, is average pizzas per order. Okay. So average pizzas per order is nothing but it is calculated with the ratio of dividing total number of pizzas sold by total number of orders, right? So total number of pizzas sold divided by total number of orders. So it is very simple. So we'll be using a select statement. Total number of pizzas sold is nothing but sum of what? Quantity. Okay. Sum of quantity which we already determined, and total number of orders means nothing but count the distinct of order ID. So we will take count distinct of order underscore id. Okay, from pizza underscore sales. Okay, so this is our query. So I will just run this, select this, and I will run this. So you can see two pizzas are there, right? But you cannot get a exact two value. There may be a fraction value like 2.1, 2.5, 2.56 likewise. So what this particular MS SQL server is doing is it is giving us, it is giving us the value, or it is rounding off the value, and it is giving us the result. Okay, but we want it in the decimal points. Okay, some decimal points should be given there. So what we have to do is we have to cast this particular numerator and cast this numerator denominator what in terms of decimals. Okay, so we have to convert this in terms of decimals. So to do that, what we will be doing, we will use a cast function over here, right? So for this I will be using a cast function. Okay, I will add a bracket over here. So I want to convert this particular quantity in decimals. Okay, so I will convert this into decimal. Okay, so I will name it as decimal, and I will use it as 10 comma. Okay, so now I have used this 10 comma 2, and I will end this bracket for cast here. So we are casting this, and we are converting the data type of this particular sum of quantity to decimal points. Okay, so we are using two decimal points, and 10 is nothing but we will be getting up to 10 decimal points, we will be getting the result, but out of that 10 we will be using only first two decimal points. Okay, so this is important to note, right? So what is the meaning of 10 and what is meaning of 2? The 10 is nothing but we will be getting a value as, like, let's say for example 156.56787899. So likewise, after decimal points there will be 10 digits, and out of that 10 digits we only want two digits to be appeared. Okay, so this is what we are going to use here, and similarly we will be using cast for this as well. So I will just use it on next line. So I will use cast, and I will convert this also to as decimal 10 comma 2. Same for this 10 comma 2, and I will close this bracket two times, and then we will run this particular query. So you can see we have got this value as 2.32. Okay, so this is the value which we are getting over here. And if you want to cast this entire result, right? So now the ratio, so we are using this particular ratio divided by this ratio. We have casted both of these, but the entire output is 2.32 whatever we are getting. But if you want to cast this entire output, right? So if you want only 2.32, you can add a cast for this entire ratio. Okay, it is not needed, but I will show you how we can do that. So I will add a one more cast over here for entire ratio. So I will add it here, and here what we will be doing is here at the output I will be using as decimal. Okay, and I will be using here 10 comma. Okay, I will close this, and I will close this second time, and when I run this particular thing, so you can see we are getting value as 2.32. All right, so in this way we have to convert our output. Okay, so first I've used cast for the numerator, then I've used cast to convert it into decimal for denominator, and I've used this cast for entire ratio. Okay, for this entire ratio I've used. Okay, and if you want, you can give a temporary name for this as average pizza. What should be the name? Average pizzas per order underscore order. Okay, and you can run this, and you can see average pizzas per order is given, and 2.32 is the answer which we are getting. So we have to copy this into our document, this particular query, and copy this as a result as well, so that you have to store the result. All right, so this was our KPIs. So we have determined all the KPIs. So we will go ahead and move to our charts requirement. Okay, so these charts are actually designed to be into Excel, but whatever values that will be displayed on the chart, we'll be finding it first in Excel, in SQL queries only. All right. So I will just delete this query for now, and I will just bring this query and I will execute C so that we can see our data over here. So first thing what he want is a daily trend for orders. Okay. So we want daily trend for our total orders. So in such a way that we will be getting an output from Saturday to Sunday or all the weekdays, and considering all the days in a week, considering all weekend days also, and with respect to that how many total number of orders were placed in each week. Okay, so to do this or to write this query I will be using select. Okay, and in this case we will be using a date function, that is date name. Okay, first I will write a query and I will then explain how we have how to understand this query, and I will be using an abbreviation or interval as dw. Then we want the date field is as order date, order underscore date. Okay, and I will mention this as, or the alias for this will be under underscore day. Okay, and what we want is we want count with respect to this. Okay, so we want count of, okay, so we want count of order ID, so it is nothing but total orders, right? So we want count of total orders, we have to take distinct count. Okay, so I will be using distinct order ID. Okay, and I will name this column as total orders. Okay, and we want to bring it from pizza underscore sales. And always remember, whenever you are using an aggregate, okay, whenever you are bringing a column and you're using an aggregate with respect to any field or any measure in from your data, you have to always group by your particular thing. What we can say, you have to use a group by clause so that it will be grouping that particular with respect to that particular date or day or category, and then it will be giving us an aggregated result. So always remember, you have to use a group by over here. Okay, group by whatever the categorical field we are using here, that is this is our categorical field, and we will paste it over here. Okay, I will just run this query, and you can see with respect to, you can see this has been order day. So order day is nothing but this Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, all the things, and we are having count as total order. So this is nothing but distinct count we are getting. So in this way we have formed our result. So what we have used here, we have used a date name function over here, and we are using a date dw. So this date name is nothing but it is an argument which is it is used to derive the date of the week. Okay, so dw is nothing but it retrieves a day of week as a character string like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. Okay, so dw is nothing but date of a week which is used to convert our order day into a string, and it will retrieve the date name. Okay, and this is the date name, that is Saturday to Sunday or whatever it is. Okay, so right now it is disturbed, but it can work for us. We don't have to group by it, or we can say order by it. So in this way we have calculated our first chart. Okay, so we have derived our first chart, that is daily trend. Okay, then we will move ahead to our next one. So I will just mention here it as daily trend. All right. So now next what we have to do is I will just select this and bring our query over here. And next you have to find out is hourly trend. Okay. So now what we have to create is we have to create a hourly trend chart. So what he wants us is, if we can see our data, we have order time over here. So he want us to, okay, our user want us to create a trend in such a way that daily at which particular hours there are peak, we can say, or peak volume of orders are there. All right, so with respect to that we have to create this particular query. So I will write a query over here. I will be using a select statement again. So I will use select, and in this case we have to take a date part function. Okay, so we'll be using a date part function. So date part function is nothing but which date part we have to retrieve. Okay, so what should be the interval of that? So we'll be using r. Okay, so we'll be hours. Okay, because we want to show hourly trend, so the part of that particular date should be hour, and what particular field we'll be using is order time, because it is a time field. So we'll be using order underscore time. Okay, so this will be our order underscore time, and we want to name it as order hours. Okay, we'll give the temporary name for this as order hours. And again, what we want is count distinct of order ID, because we want to find it out total order. So I will just copy this and we will be using same. Okay, we want it for total orders, and we will be taking it from pizza underscore sales. And again, whenever you are using an aggregate function with any of the categorical value, you have to group by it. Okay, so I will group by it by, so you have to group by it whatever you are mentioning at start here. Okay, so you have to group by it with this only. Don't use group by of any other what you can say, like pizza category or pizza name. Okay, so I will just copy this and I will paste it over here. All right, and I will just select this and I will run this particular query. Okay, so you can see we have got our result, and what we will do, we will just order it. We will be order by, okay, order by this particular thing. Control C, Control V, and I will just select this and I will execute this. So you can see we have got this result. So order hours is nothing but from starting from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. at the night. Okay, so 9 a.m. the morning, the store opens and store closes at 11 p.m. in the evening or at the night. And with respect to from 9 to 11, okay, so from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., how many order volumes are there? You can see. So you can see where are the peak volumes. You can see at afternoon 11 there is number of this 2520 is the maximum number. Then at 1 o'clock, that is at 13, you can see 2455 is the maximum numbers. Then again those are going down, and at 17, that is at 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so up to 4 hours again there is a peak period is there. Okay, so daily the order value fluctuates in this way. All right, so I hope you have understood this. So this is the nothing but the hourly trend for us. So this was the daily trend and this is now the hourly trend. So now I will just delete these queries. Okay, and I will just select this and I will go ahead here. All right. So we will be starting with our next requirement, that is third one, that is percentage of sales by pizza category. Okay. So here what we have to determine is the pizza by with respect to pizza category, we have to find out the sales, but we don't want the sales number. We have to find out the percentage of total. Okay, so first we will understand what should be the logic behind this. Okay, so how to determine the sales for that particular pizza category, and we have to find out the percentage. So percentage, how percentage is calculated? Percentage is nothing but we have to divide it by the total number of sales or over that particular what you can sales. Okay, so we will be dividing that particular pizza category sales divided by total number of sales, or we can say entire sales into that particular data. So we have to take the ratio. Okay, so to do that, what we will be doing, if you are having still a confusion, you can go ahead and search how we determine the percentage of sales or percentage of total. Understand that logic, and then you will be able to understand this query whatever I'm writing here. Okay, so remember we are taking the ratio, and at a denominator we will be taking total number of sales, and at numerator it will be with respect to category wise sales. Okay, so we will be writing an query as select. I'll be using a select statement again. So we want pizza category. Okay, so we have name here pizza category, so we have to use the name of that particular field, that is pizza category. Okay, so I will be using a pizza category, comma. Okay, so now with above in front of that pizza category, what we want is ratio. Okay, so we have to take a ratio in such a way that what we will be doing is we will be doing first as sum of, okay, sum of total underscore price. Okay, right. So for percentage, what we have to do is we have to take a ratio and then we have to multiply it by 100 so that it will be converted to percentage. So we multiply that particular 100 at numerator. So what I will do, I will multiply 100 over here itself. Okay, then I will divide it by the total number of sales. Okay, so you can see these particular sales whatever we have taken here, it is with respect to that particular pizza category. Whichever pizza category we are taking, you will be getting in front of those sales, and that will be multiplied by 100. But at denominator, we want the sales of entire data. So for that we will write one more select statement. So I will write here select. Okay, so what we will be using here again, sum of total underscore price. Okay, and here we will be taking it from pizza underscore sales. Okay, and I will close this bracket. You can see this particular entire this statement is only written to get an entire cell. So if I select this and if I run only this particular thing, you can see I will be dividing this particular statement. I will be dividing it by the total number of value of sales, that is 81,000. Okay, so this is important for us to understand, because you should know the logic how to determine the percentage of total. All right. So this is what we want, and then what we will do, I will just go ahead and we will be taking again from pizza underscore sales. So now this pizza underscore sales is for this particular statement. Okay. For this we have already written over here. So this is for select, this is for this particular pizza. Okay. And then we have to group by. Okay, so always remember we have to group by with whatever categorical dimension we are using. So we'll be using this particular thing, and I will just try to run this. Okay, so you can see we are getting the percentage values over here. All right, and you can see the name is not given to this particular ratio. So what we will do, I will give the name to this particular ratio as total. You can name it as total sales, or you can name it as total revenue. I will name it as total sales and revenue, it is one and the same. And I will what you can say, I will just run this. Okay, so it's not here, you have to name it as first here as total underscore sales. Okay, and then select this enter, and you can see pizza category. With respect to that we are getting total sales, but it should be not total sales, it should be percentage of total. So I will just name it as percentage of total, that is PCT is nothing but a short form or abbreviation for percentage of sales. And then I will run it. So you can see for each pizza category, you can see for classic it is 26.90, chicken is 23.95. So with respect to that we are getting the percentage of total with respect to pizza category. So let's say you want to mention the sum of total sales also over here. So what we can do, we can write one more thing here over, that is sum of total. It is an extra. Okay, so it is not as per our requirement. I will just mention here total price. Okay, as total underscore sales. Okay, and add one comma over here and then run this. Okay, so you can see if you want the total sales as well, you can get a total sales over here. All right. So now one more important point which I forgot to mention over here. So if you want to filter the data, okay. So this is the static query which gives the result for entire what we can say data set which is available with us. But if you want to filter this particular data for, let's say we want to see it for only January month. Okay, so to see the data for only January month, what we have to add here is we have to add a where clause where you will be using a filtering row by row. So we will be using a where clause. Okay, so now you want to see it for only first month. Okay, so I will be using a month function over here, that is for January. And what will be our date field which we will be using is order date is equal to 1. Okay, so when I run this particular query, you can see whatever values you are seeing over here, it is for first, means what we are seeing it for month of January. Okay, so this is important to note here, we are seeing it for month of January. So if you can see, I have added a note at the end over here. So you can see whenever I'm adding where month of order date is equal to 1, it is indicates that this is the output for January, and it can be applicable for all the queries which you are using here. You can apply it with respect to here as well. Whenever you are applying it, where that particular thing, that is where month of order date is equal to 1. So if you want to add it for quarter, you can see if you are applying date part quarter of order date is equal to 1, so it will give us the value for first quarter, because you might have seen in our Excel dashboard we are using a January filter over here. All right, so with respect to that we have to find our values. All right, so you might have seen the percentage of total we are getting 2.27, 2.08. You might have seen that it is something wrong over here, right? So why it is giving us the wrong result? Because you can see we are using one more select statement over here, and whatever where clause is applied, it is applied to our external query. Okay, so we are using a subquery over here. So to apply this particular where clause in subquery, what we have to do, we have to copy this and we have to apply here as well. Okay, so in this particular where query also, because it is taking the total sales, but total sales should be also taken for that particular month also. So what we will do, I will just run this query, and now we are getting the correct result, that is 26, 23 and 24. So make sure whenever you are using a subquery and whenever you are applying a filter, that is where clause, it should be added in subquery as well. Okay. So in this way, you can apply the filter and you can find out the values for different, you can say, what we can say values also. If you can see for January, we are getting these particular values because we are going to apply some filters over here. You should apply the filters in query as well and find if we are getting the correct result or we are not getting the correct result. All right. So this is also important. We have must apply the filter in query also. So I hope you have understood. And moving ahead to our next one is, let's move ahead. So next requirement is percentage of sales by pizza size. Okay. So this is very much same. So I will just remove this first filter from here. Okay. So we will be using the same query here. Only instead of what we have to do is instead of pizza category, we will be using pizza size. Okay. So I will just run this particular statement. This is the data. So we will be using pizza size now. Okay. So instead of pizza category, I will use pizza size. All other things will be same. So I'll just copy this and I will paste it over here. So this as well. Okay. And now if you run this query, so you will be getting the values with respect to pizza size over here. So if you want to group by or order by it, so I will just use an order by. So if you want to see the sizes with respect to, with percentage of total, I will just group by it by PCT and I will just see it in a ascending order. So if you want to see it in descending order, we will add a here DESC. So by default, it is ascending. But if you want to see it in descending, you have to add this function at the end of the order clause. And then you can see the values are now in descending order. All right. So one more thing also you can do here, if you want to see it for only up to 2 decimal points, that is 45.89. So this is just I'm telling you an extra. So what you can do here is you can add a cast over here. Okay. So means what, I will just add a cast here, cast function. Okay. I will add a bracket and it is dividing it by this, and at this end what I will add as decimal. Okay. We'll change it to decimal 10 comma 2. We'll close this bracket and I will close this one more bracket and I will just run this. You can see we are getting at up to 2 decimal points. Okay, so in this way you can modify your query as per your requirement. So cast we are using to convert it into decimal, and then in decimal we are showing it up to only 2 decimal points. Okay, in this way we are forming our result. Similarly for this also, if you want to see the total sales up to 2 decimal points, again you can use your cast. Okay, and I will just add a bracket over here and I will add a comma decimal 10 comma. Okay, so we have to remove the comma from here. I will close one more bracket and add it over here. Okay, not needed. And I will just run this. Okay, so we are getting an error over here at line 15. Okay, cost. Yeah, we have to add it as, and now you can see. So we are getting this also as per 2 decimal points. So in this way you can use your query, and again you can add your where clause as well. So make sure you are adding a where clause before a group by statement, and if you are adding a where clause here, make sure you are adding the where clause in this particular subquery as well. All right, so get the correct result. All right. So let's say let us see it for quarter. Okay, so we'll see it for first quarter. So let's say we are adding a date part function over here, and date part should be what, quarter. Okay, and we are using here order underscore date, and we are seeing it for first quarter. So let's run this. Okay, so quarter is not an recognized hint option, so we'll just know. Okay, so make sure it is a case sensitive. Okay, and we will run this. Still not. So, okay, where clause, where. Now I will run this, and you can see it is for first quarter, but make sure you are adding it here as well. So I'll just copy this and we will add it over here as well. I will close the bracket. Okay, and now we will execute this. Oops, we will execute this, and you can see we are getting the result right now for first quarter. And in this way, by applying some filters in Excel as well as applying some filters in SQL, you can get this particular result. So I hope you have understood this. Okay. So now moving ahead to our next problem statement, that is top five sorry, the total pizzas sold by pizza category. Okay, so we want to find a query or result in such a way that by with respect to pizza category, how many total pizzas sold are there. Total pizza sold is nothing but we have to take sum of all the quantities which we have. All right, so I will just run this query first and we will see our data, and I will just close this, and we will be using a function over here. We have to see it with respect to pizza category. Okay, so pizza category comma, we have to see the sum of quantity. Okay, because we want total number of pizzas sold. Okay, so sum of quantity, and we will name it as total pizzas sold. Okay, we will name it as total pizzas sold from pizza underscore sales, and we will group by, always remember to use group by with respect to pizza category, and we'll run this. Okay, so invalid statement, quantity, spelling has been wrong. And now I will run this, and you can see these are the total number of quantities or pizza sold. Okay, and make sure you are updating your document over here, right? So we can see the total number of pizza sold are in this way, right? So make sure you are updating your document as well, copying this and taking the snapshot of results so that you can later compare it with Excel, Power BI, or whichever dashboard you will be using. All right, so make sure you are doing that. And this is the total number of pizza sold, so which solves our next requirement. Then the second last is the top five best sellers by total pizzas sold. Okay, so we will see the top five best sellers which with respect to the total pizzas sold. So I will just remove this and we will just run this query to see our data. So this is our data, and with respect to the pizza, that is with respect to the pizza name, which are the top five best sellers we have to find. Okay, and it is with respect to the name of pizza which we have here. So we will be using the pizza name. Okay, which is the best seller. So pizza name, and we want the best seller, that is total number of quantities sold. Okay, so that is sum of, we have to take quantity. Okay, sum of quantity, it is nothing but that as total pizzas sold. Okay, so this is our total pizza sold. We will take it from pizza sales, and again we have to use group by pizza name. Okay, so we'll just run this query. So you can see we are getting all the pizzas and its total quantities over here, but we want only top five. But before getting a top five, what we will do, we will use an order by clause, and we will sort the output in descending order. Okay, so we will sort the pizzas right with respect to the sum of quantity. Okay, you can either take a sum of quantity or you can take this field also over here. It will give us the same result, and we will be using a descending order because we want it in descending order. So you can see we are getting in descending order, but we want only top five pizzas sold. Okay, so for that what you can do is you can add one statement here, top five. Okay, so we want top five pizzas. Okay, so we will mention your top five, and then we will run this query, and you can see these are the top five pizzas sold. Okay, so which is the expected output for us. All right, so I hope you have understood this. Note down this, take the query, take the snapshot, right? Then the last one is we have to just show the bottom five. Okay. So now to the do the bottom five, what we have to do is instead of descending, okay, what we will do, I will just remove this first, and now I will run this query. Okay, now we want bottom five. So for bottom five, I will just remove this. So by default, it is ascending. But if you write ASC as well here, it will again bring us in ascending format. You can see it has been showing with respect to last from last five, right? Or we can see in ascending order of this particular total pizza sold. But now we want to leave bottom five. Okay, so for that again, what we will mention here, top five. Okay, so top five is nothing but it is calculating this top five. Okay, it does not mean that top five in terms of sum of quantity. With whatever we have, order it by ascending or descending, it will take those top five. Okay, and I will just run this now, and you can see we are getting the bottom five pizzas sold. Okay, so in this way we have to use our queries and modify our queries with respect to our result. So now what we have done is we have applied our we have solved all the problem statement with the SQL queries. We have our result, Okay, and one more thing here also you can apply a where statement whatever you want. Let's say we want to see it for first month, so I will use it for month of order date. Okay, is equal to 1. Okay, so here we don't have any subquery, so we just have to mention it over here, and I will just run this. Okay, you can see we are getting for first month, that is for January month. You can see these are the queries, and if you want to see it for August month, so for August you have to add it here as 8. Okay, so for August, because it falls in 8th month, so you can see 8 will be for August, and you can see this will be the result for August month. All right, so in this way, we have solved all our problem statements which are provided by the client for us, and we have solved it in MS SQL Server. Now we will be preparing our dashboard and we will be comparing our result. But before that, we will see which document we have prepared. Okay, so always remember to make sure you have prepared this document because it will be good for our reference to validate our result. Okay. So we have added all the queries. We have added our output over here. We have taken the snapshot of all the outputs. So this output or this query document can be used by your users, by your colleagues, by your clients to verify if we are getting the correct result or not. All right. So make sure you do that. And now we will start our Excel dashboard. That is part 2 of our video.